Hello and welcome. Today's reading is going to be focused on happiness and joy. My name is Crow and it's a pleasure to have you here today. Now, before we begin, let's take a brief moment and step into a receptive state. So you can close your eyes if you'd like. Now picture yourself surrounded by darkness. Feel it soft and safe all around you, comfortable and empty. Because in nothing can hurt you. Nothing can hold you back. Nothing can limit you. Now next picture a glowing golden light from your chest. Feel it swell, feel its warmth, and from it feel countless threads erupt before you and behind you. The threads in front of you representing the future, and the threads behind you representing the past, because as you look at these threads, you can see countless images reflected upon them. Now revolve the light within yourself and notice how the images on these threads change in correspondence. In this way, as you change your light, so too does your path forward change. So too do your options. So too do your possibilities. Take this moment and feel the confidence of being one with your higher self, knowing that it's all within your control. There we go. Now, we're going to do the river spread today, and we're going to use the Sun card as the focus card. We can see here I would say more of a toddler. There's sort of a new toddler on top of a white steed, and they're galloping over this wall with a bunch of sunflowers growing. The sun is, of course, beaming above with a face. The toddler is holding a red, sort of a red flag, really, quite a long one, but it's almost like a drape at this point, with a wreath of sunflowers and a red feather on the head. The sun. You may or you may not have already done your birth reading. As a psychologist, I would actually recommend you do it, even if you don't believe in birth charts, because what they essentially are is a very old way of categorizing parts of the psyche. So nowadays we tend to use things like the Big Five model to classify personality and all the components of the psyche, but the ancients had I would say, far more refined system where they used the planets, and each planet of course has a number of correspondences with it, and how these planets are in line are sort of how your psyche is coming to be. Now of course, it as above so below, so they didn't just pull this out of nothing. The this method in of itself is a reflection on the universe, on creation. So not only is it more refined, it's accurate. So even if you're skeptical, I would suggest just having a go and seeing what results come back, because you will learn much about yourself from having a little gander there. But the sun. Now, in this setup, the sun, of course, is one of the planets. This is because it is a wanderer. It is originally, and the planets were the stars that wandered. So this, of course, included the sun and the moon, with all the planets that the ancients could see in the night sky, or in the day, of course, because the sun literally is only around in the day. Now, the sun is, as we know now, the center of the solar system, so it is the primary planet. Everything revolves around it, and the light from it reflects upon the other planets before hitting the Earth. So the sun is the most important planet in the reading. It is the source of your true self, really. It will be somewhat impacted by the zodiac and things, but we will get to all that later down the line. For now, we'll just look at the planets because they're really, they tell so much in of themselves. So the sun is your primary motivation, is your primary source of joy. If you're in a job, for example, which is draining you, it's because it doesn't align with your sun. It doesn't align with your source. And that just goes to show, though, how even if the planets are shining a certain way, you have free will. You can go however you want about things. If you're a bit of a gamer, perhaps played an RPG or something, you can think of the birth chart as your starting conditions. This is how you are generally, this is how things start when you're born, of course, but you have the rest of your life to live, and you can start to, you can manipulate things. But for now, let's focus upon how the sun is currently. How are things best for you now? We can worry about all the other things later on. So with the river spread, imagine there's a river flowing from left to right. And we're going to first look at the source of your joy, your happiness. What does your sun require most? What brings you joy? For me, it's stories. I love stories. It's why I got into psychology in the first place, because people are of themselves main characters in their own story. I'm endlessly fascinated by how they all interlock on this little planet with all these billions of us here. But for now, let's look and see. Oh. Sometimes you have to sort of... Yeah, okay. 2, alright. So we're already breaking the rule. As the way the tarot goes, sometimes you have to just sort of feel your way forward. So I'm getting 2 cards here as the source of your joy. I'm getting the 2 of Wands, which shows a man surveying the landscape. He has a wand in his left hand. He's holding a globe in his right. On the wall he's standing on, there are red and white flowers. Of course, the conscious and subconscious of the red and white coming through. The wands corresponding with fire. And of course he's draped all in red, so very much fire, the will. You can see him there surveying the land. Now the other card I've got is the Queen of Pentacles. So we have a woman sitting here in what looks to be like a little grotto, a little sanctuary in her garden, perhaps. She's cradling a pentacle, sitting on a stone throne, covered with lots of interesting symbology. And there's a little rabbit bounding by her, and we've got a scene of luscious crops and vegetation, lots of things growing. You can see her here. She's almost... her and the Empress are very similar in a lot of ways. There is a lot of symbology with pregnancy here as well. So, what is going to be the source of your joy, the source of your happiness? Well, the first thing that's coming to my attention is this... there is this interest in the world. So he's looking out, this is a 2 of Wands, looking out across the world, looking out across the water as well. So he's looking beyond his current shore into the unknown. He's looking off screen. So you may not currently know what is the source of your joy. A great strategy you can use, which I learned, was to think back to how things were for you as a child. What interested you about the world? What fascinated you about life? These answers may come quickly to you. You may need to meditate on them. The answers will be there, though. Unless, of course, you've had, unfortunately, a very abusive childhood, in which I would certainly suggest you seek some therapy in that regard, because finding these answers are going to be buried quite deep in that regard. So if that's the case, you can always still go ahead with some introspection. Spirit will always guide you. You know, there is nothing blocking you from divine connection if you put your eyes on the higher mind. So nobody is restricted from this knowledge. However, if you've had a difficult upbringing, I would encourage support in this regard, because in this work we want to have a strong foundation, and you can imagine a bit like how a tree grows outwards, doesn't it? It's the same with our psyches. Our children, our youngest selves, of course shown by this, are in the center. So if they're warped in any way, or if they've got any problems, that's going to be reflected out into the wider rings. And we've got the wands here as well. The wands are passion, they are inspiration, they are creative ideas. And so he's grasping it in his left hand. Now, the left hand, of course, relating to the subconscious mind, but his right is on the globe. So he's keeping this consistent flow of passion coming in, with his hand on the wand, and he's surveying his possibilities. His current station may not be adequate. I doubt it is. So we need to look inwards, I would say, first, to how things were like as a children. This is a state we want to have. This joy of galloping on the white steed of spirit there. This joy of life. And what made our inner child feel like this? It won't be many things, and it will be quite general topics as well. It won't be like, I need to do this specific thing. It will be, I like traveling, I like talking to people, I like dancing, movement. It will be that sort of thing. You want the general topic. And once you've got this general topic, now it's time to broaden your horizon. It's time to look out into the world and see what opportunities are there. But also, you want to be, you also want to be feeling. So she's not even looking at the pentacle in this one. She's just feeling with her hands. It's very tactile. She's cradling this desire. Now, all your desires, this is the best bit, all your desires already exist. Your perfect life already exists. It's actually all in your own mind already. So here we have, she's listening in. She's listening to what is wanting to be born, what wants to come forward into abundance, into this wonderful life. The queen, feminine, representing the water in the court cards. So there is this emotion. She's listening to her emotions and listening to the practical applications as well. So perhaps in this modern era, you could start a dance YouTube channel. But there's many different ways you could go about things. So listen to your inner child to discover what the general topics are. Then start to research, start to broaden your horizons and look into these topics, and you'll find the answers along the way. Just have a tactile approach. Use your fingers and feel your way forwards. So we've got the source of the river. Now we're going to look at what's floated to the top. What is currently around you that could benefit your benefit the source coming through, benefit these plants. Okay, so now we've got the Six of Wands. So we've got a man riding another white steed, and you've got people cheering him on. He looks like he's celebrating. all these staffs here, and the horses, of course, looking back up at him. So it's sort of represented in both these images. The horse is looking at them. And this, I think, is really important because the divine mind is listening to everything you're doing all the time. It's constantly working on your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. It's paying attention to you. So are you paying attention to it? And the Six of Wands is also this feeling of victory. Six, of course, corresponding with the sun itself. I have a strong feeling that right now around you, there are some wonderful opportunities. Spirit's sort of looking back at him like, are you paying attention? I'm showing you right now. It's right here with you. Look how close they all are to him. All these ideas, all these inspirations. Just let it come through. Let it come through, and it will show you what creative ideas, what energy is near you, what passion. Yeah, there is something good here. There's also this green and this red coming through. Yeah, this is an opportunity of abundance for you at the moment. So I would urge tuning into spirit, seeing what is being presented to you. As the phrase goes, if God's looking down on you, don't you want to be looking up at him? And in this case, yes, the source consciousness is showing you something. But let's have a look at what has sunk even, down into the murky bottom of the river. What subconscious patterns should we deal with? Here we are. So we've got the Five of Cups. Now we've got a man here, clearly travelling to... Now normally it's a city in these pictures. Well, sometimes it's a city, but I equate this with a city across the river. But this one actually looks like a bit of a monastery, I've just noticed. We can see him there on the other side of the bank, and he's looking down at these spilled cups. And he's got a few cups behind him there. And the red and the green coming through again. Red and the green, of course, corresponding a lot with the... this will be the lower level of the mind with the emotions. Essentially, you've got if we go back to the planets, we've got Mars and Venus, who in myth were, of course, lovers. And you have this balance between this active will and this receptive. It's sort of a... again, it's the subconscious and the conscious coming through, but at a lower level. The subconscious and the conscious mind are reflected on all levels of reality. One of those expressions being gender in the physical world. Now, of course, gender is on a spectrum, so it's not so like binary. But with the conscious and the subconscious, it is. And then this sort of, I would say, middle level with the green and the red, the Mars and the Venus. This is a little bit more between the two. It's not so binary, but of course it's still this stronger masculine and feminine duality to it, somewhat. And so what I can feel here is he's got two red cups which are spilled and one green cup which is spilled. So perhaps things have not gone well. Perhaps lots of trial and effort has occurred in the past. You've attempted many things. You've tried lots to start a new life, to go down a new path, and it just hasn't panned out. But what I would encourage is look what's behind him. He's got two left. I wonder if one of those cups is red and one is green, meaning he has the perfect balance remaining. And all he's got to do is cross the bridge, and he's there at the monastery. He's there at the sacred place, the sacred space. Yes, I think cups, of course, corresponding with emotions, so there may have been some hurt in your past to reconcile. So not even just failures, but also, are you worthy? Do you deserve these things? Maybe he's looking down in this depressed, glum state, like, I'm never worthy, it's never working out for me. But right behind him is all he needs. One for each hand. And all he has to do is cross the bridge. So these subconscious patterns of worry, of failure, of hurt, they're going to need to be unbound. They're going to need to be straightened out. And this is where we can do lots of different techniques. But I would recommend, first of all, realizing that all is not lost. He still has cups there. He still has all he needs. You can let go of these old hurts. You can let go of these old begrudges against failure. They don't matter. They aren't you. They do not represent you. It's up to you where your attention is. Is your attention on what has been lost, or what you still have, and where you have to go? Now, let's look at the final card. What can we pay attention to moving forward to help us? Ah, interesting. What can we pay attention to moving forward to help us in manifesting a life of joy and happiness? And we get the Tower, which is quite an interesting card to receive here. One of the major arcana. You can see the Tower striking the top, and yes, it looks to be a crown is falling away, and the people are falling out the tower, and these yods coming down, and there's a storm, and yes, it's all going a bit crazy, isn't it? Now, this could imply that things are about to become a bit dramatic in your next immediate future. However, the Tower is, it's a bit like the Death card. It's about transformation. It can be very drastic, though. We've got this old crown being struck away, and the people being cast out. The old rulers. He's wearing a little crown as he falls as well. No, it's the Queen. Ah, yes. So I would say this is the old state of consciousness is being turfed out. These old patterns being removed, which is what we want, but it can be a bit uncomfortable, the process. It can be a bit worrying. But for something new to come through, the old must be destroyed. So, even though your setting may start to look like this, it may start to look quite worrisome, I want you to remember what it's all for. It's all for this. It's all for this joy and this wonderfulness. Which means this is part of the process. There's a reason this is happening. Now you can navigate. Now, to navigate it as best as we can, we come back to Spirit. All the guidance you need to navigate any situation, no matter how crazy it gets, is the Divine Mind. The Divine Mind knows everything because it is everything. And because of this, it knows your solution. It knows the safest, best route for you. And look at the toddler. The toddler's not holding any reins. It's just flowing its flag of will and passion, and it's letting spirit lead the way. It's letting spirit take the path forward. And that's sort of the thing with spirit. You've put in your destination. Imagine your subconscious mind to be like a limo driver. You've given it a destination. You said, I want you to take me to X. And the limo driver says, yes, I'm going to take you there now. And you just let them do it, and it's all good. If you start to play with the reins, if you start to mess about, we're going to go off course, and we're going to go somewhere we perhaps don't want to be. So maybe spirit is pulling us towards some, difficult situation, but maybe, you know what's coming through to me? Those scenes in Star Wars where the ship goes right through the crack between two, I think it is the pod racing in number 1, Anakin flies it straight between that crack, doesn't he? Almost crashing, but he makes it through and he wins the race. So even if things are looking a little bit dire, it's time to buckle down and trust in spirit. Trust in your wonderfulness coming through, and know it's all part of the plan. Right, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you very much for being here. If you've got any cards you'd like me to explain or any readings you'd like me to do, please leave a comment down below. If you prefer a private reading, you can find the link to that in the description. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time.